So there's this trendy video where Pedro Obaseki, the cousin of the former governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, was roughly handled, was beaten and stripped naked in the city of Benin. Now the allegation or the accusation was that they had a meeting in the UK and he made some statement that offended some people in Benin. He said Edo Atokbeye instead of Oba Atokbeye. Watch this video. After the video, I'll come and tell you the significance of that statement and the fact that he said that in the UK. A lot of people do not understand what is going on, so they just react as children that they are. Watch this video. When we come back, I will explain.
Well, today at about 11:30, today is Sunday, the 28th of December, while playing football with my football mates at Uwa Primary School in Benin. We have the Uwa Osters. The place was attacked by assailants, and I was physically abducted, in short, basically kidnapped. Some of them holding guns, and some of them are non-thugs. Luckily I have their names, and they hauled me through the streets of Benin under the guise that they've been sent to come and abduct me by the palace of the Oba of Benin. And I begged them to show me some form of ID. Of course not. I was dragged, beaten, severely manhandled, and dragged through Igbisawan straight up to Akpakpava, which is the main thoroughfare in Benin, and up to Ring Road, where I was stripped naked and taken into the palace of the Oba of Benin, and where I was meant to kneel in full public there. I've never been so humiliated, because I am who I am because of my nativity, my Beniness. I have served my culture. I don't know what to say. Today in fact, I was later released. I was actually also taken to a police station where the commissioner of police proved his mettle. Came within 2 hours, he came to see me 3 times before he ordered my release, from the police station at Oba Market Road. From the countenance of the chiefs I met at the palace, it was clear that they did not send these people on these messages from what it was. So this elemental brigadage has to stop. I am traumatized. I'm distraught. And I hear that my sin was that I went to London, and in a public statement I said Edo Atokbeye, which means may Edo people live long and prosper. That I should have said Oba Atokbeye, may the Oba live long and prosper. That my saying may Edo people live long and prosper is a cardinal sin in Benin. For me, who has elevated the culture of the Benin race in my 35 to 40 years as the pioneer of the present Nollywood. Okay, Edo Atokbeye, Oba Atokbeye, because it's cybernetic. There is no king without subjects. Thank you.
You have seen that video. He said they beat him because he said Edo Atokbeye. There's this popular prayer in quotes that is always said to the Oba by Benin's and everybody in Edo State. If you want to greet the Oba, you say Oba Atokbeye. But many people don't understand the meaning of Oba Atokbeye. Even Pedro, unfortunately, from what he said, does not understand the meaning of Oba Atokbeye. So when you say Edo Atokbeye, it doesn't make any sense. I'm going to give you a brief history of where that statement came from. Now, the Oba of Benin, Oba Ovonramwen Enogbase, was taken to Calabar by the British Empire. He was the last independent Oba of the Benin Kingdom, so to speak. Independent in the sense that he was not enthroned by any bigger empire or bigger power. So what's the background story? Oba Ovonramwen ruled Benin Kingdom in present-day Edo State, Nigeria, in the late 19th century. Benin was a powerful, well-organized kingdom with a long history, advanced governance, rich culture, and strong control over trade at that time. So there was this guy called James Roberts Phillips. He was the acting British Consul General for the Niger Coast Protectorate in the late 19th century under the British Empire. Now, despite being clearly warned that the Oba of Benin at that time was observing a sacred ritual, just like this period, they have what they call Igwe Festival. It's a yearly ritual that is done in Benin. So according to the story, Phillips was trying to enter Benin at that time, but the soldiers in the borders, they told him you cannot enter Benin during this period. Phillips ignored the warning and proceeded towards Benin City with armed parties. Then the fatal explanation. In January 1897, Phillips led a delegation towards Benin City, but along the way, his party was ambushed by Benin warriors. Phillips and most of his delegation were killed. Only a few survived. So that same Philip, acting Consul General, was unalived. Now, this brought about the invasion. The British will not take that from a black man. In 1897, remember this happened in January, the British launched what they called the punitive expedition against Benin after a British delegation was attacked while attempting to enter the Benin Kingdom against the Oba's order. Benin was invaded, they burned large parts of Benin City. They looted thousands of priceless artwork, now known as the Benin bronzes that they stole. We all know about the story. They dismantled the kingdom's political independence. Then the Oba was taken away. Oba Vorame was captured by the British, deposed as Oba, exiled to Calabar in present-day Cross River. That's where they took him to. So Calabar was chosen because it was far from Benin and already a British administrative center, making it easier to isolate the Oba from his people and prevent resistance. Life in exile and death. Oba Vorame lived in exile under British supervision. He was allowed limited royal dignity, but had no political power. It was like a prisoner there. Then he died in Calabar in 1914. That was the end of Oba Vorame. And this was done by the British. Now, let me not drag you into other stories, but I just give you a background of how this thing came about. So, after the death of Oba Vorame, his son, who was known as Prince Aigobasimi, became Oba Eweka II, restoring the royal line under colonial rule. Right now we are not under colonial rule, so you cannot call him an independent Oba. That's why I say Oba Vorame was the last independent Oba. Where did this prayer came from? Oba Gato Okbeye. What does it mean? Oba Vorame lived long, so to speak, but he did not stay on the throne. So when they say Oba Gato Okbeye, it means if the Oba stay long in life, he will live long on the throne. That's the meaning of Oba Gato Okbeye. So when somebody says Uwato, it means you will grow old. But Oba Gato is an if statement. It's not a prayer that the Oba will live long. He said if the Oba lives long, then it's going to reign for long. That's what it means by Oba Gato Okbeye. Oba Gato Okbeye. That's what it means. But many Beninese don't know. Even some chiefs don't know. You can see Mr. Pedro does not understand what it means by Oba Gato Okbeye. So when you say Edo Atokbeye, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. That if Edo people live long, they will last for what? They're not on the throne. So you can see the confusion that is caused by not documenting proper history. People are just saying Oba Atokbeye, as if it's no longer relevant today. Because there's nobody, I don't think there's anybody that can overthrow the Oba today. So when you say if Oba lives long, he's going to stay long on the throne. Definitely the Oba will stay long on the throne. The prayer should be Uwato. So the prayer is that the Oba should live long. That should be the prayer for today. not Uwato Wakbe. It's an if statement, it's not a prayer. If the Oba lives long, he's going to stay long. That's not a prayer. And this thing came because of the British invasion. So when he went to London to say that thing, it was as if history is playing back. They see it as an offense against the Benin people. So they attacked him. That attack is condemnable, is wrong, because they don't understand what they are doing. They don't understand the history. Oba Atokbe is not a prayer for today. If you want to pray for the Oba, say Uwato. That's the prayer. I hope this makes sense. Because not to know what happened before you were born is to forever remain a child. Gradually, cultism, hooliganism is creeping into the Benin Kingdom, the revered Benin Kingdom that we all respect as pride. Just so you know.